Good evening, all, and a warm welcome to our session today. We have an amazing guest and an amazing session, and it's a topic that I guess we are all really looking forward to listen to. And it will be an exciting conversation, and I hope that we are all going to learn something from it. My name is Alice, and I'm your moderator this evening. So to kick us off, I'll just give you a brief background of who we are. We are the Kajiado We Want. We are a community-based organization that focuses on community development matters in the following areas. Infrastructure, this includes roads, street lighting and drainage, water and sanitation, health and drug abuse, education and literacy, environment, waste management, land use and climate change, trade, industry and job creation, advocacy for youth, women and children, security and community policing. We aim to achieve developments in the above areas by creating awareness through covering topical issues tackled by an expert every Wednesday on our social media handles, such as what we're having today, lobbying government through public participation, memoranda, petitioning, and picketing as a last resort. And lastly, through creating partnerships with individuals, associations, entities, and non-governmental organizations. This group is not political and does not support any political leader against others. Neither is it aimed to support anyone's political ambitions. We will work with all leaders, elected and non-elected. Key values required of the CBO members are volunteerism, commitment, integrity, and respect for others. Membership is drawn from all the sub-counties of Kajiado. Feel free to engage and participate on matters that bring development to our county. And with that background, I am now really honored to introduce our guest for this evening. Did you know that the TVET Act of 2013 was designed to address the job skills issue and revamp the education system with a view of making the lives of our youth better? How have perceptions and attitudes affected our education system and job opportunities? Are there available opportunities to integrate on-the-job training and lifelong learning in the job market? To help us unpack this, we as the Kajiado We Want are extremely privileged to host our speaker, a TVET expert. Our speaker this week is an extraordinary woman, a fluent speaker of the German language, whose mantra is, "Life's an ocean, sail in it." She possesses an honorary doctorate in transformational leadership and a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship. Dr.Ekrah Ndungu is the CEO of the German Institute of Professional Studies, an educational consultant, corporate trainer, an advisor, a career coach, and mentor, and an inspirational and motivational speaker. Dr. Ndungu serves as a board member and advisor in many organizations. She has won many accolades, including the Ambassadorial Code of Honor Award, the Education Advocacy Award, the Leader of the Year Award, the African Woman Leader Vessels of Virtue Award, and Career Coach of the Year Award. What an amazing, amazing person. So, Dr. Ekrah, over to you.
Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you for all who are joining us and those who will be watching this after the talk. My name is Ekrah Ndungu, Secretary General, Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. This is the umbrella body for the private colleges in the country. So first, I would love to take us through the status of TVET in the country and where we are at as a nation. So the most recent news about TVET is our current CS for Education, Honorable Machogu, announcing that out of all the students they were placing in the universities, 9,673 of them who qualified for degree courses have chosen to be placed in TVET institutions. Now, this conversation would not have come at a better time, so that those people who are asking themselves, why would 9,000 people choose to go to TVET, whereas we have had a preference for university education in the country? So what has changed? Why embrace TVET? So the importance of TVET and the skills gap is our conversation tonight. So the status of TVET in the country, we have policy, the policy issues. One of these has been a sector that was not regulated for many years until the year 2013, where KENAPCO as an association steered the agenda and participated in the 2013 Act that now regulates us. After that, negotiated with the then administration that came in of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and we were given a state department because the TVET was always the baby who didn't have an owner. Sometimes we would be in basic education, sometimes in higher education. So there was some bit of confusion. And through lobbying, at least we got, with that administration, we got a state department. And as a sector, we have our own principal secretary. Then a regulator was born, which is TVETA, the TVET Authority. And this is the regulator for the both public and private institutions for the TVET sector. There are 3 institutions that were born. I was privileged to participate in the drawing of the TVET strategy for Kenya. That was in 2015. And KNQA was born. This is Kenya National Qualification Authority, where it was a challenge those years and those days. You didn't know whether you have your diploma from the university, what weight does it carry? So KNQA comes in to equate your papers, and it was born during that season of drawing our national strategy for TVET. Then CDAC was born. We have been the institution, the TVET sector, the tertiary education sector, where we never used to have an examination council or anyone working on our curriculums. So CDAC was born, and which is still existing, and this is where we are having the CBET curriculums. I know we were the first ones to start CBET, although the basic education right now, the current education system, it has taken shape and is loud enough in the country, but CBET started. Now what we call CBC in the basic education, it started at the TVET sector. Then we have the institutions, and the institutions are both public and private. For me, I represent the private TVETs, which are more in the country. We have about 1,300 plus private TVETs in Kenya. Then a brief view of who we are as an association. KENAPCO, we are the umbrella body of the private TVETs in Kenya, and we lobby government on behalf of our members. Now, in this Kajiado County, which I am elected to address this evening, we have several of our members in Kajiado County, and it is good after this conversation, you can pay a visit and check. We have East Africa Institute of Welding. This is a private institution that trains welding. And why is this important? In a few years ago, during the administration of President Kibaki, there was a national outcry that the government has imported 4,000 welders. And everybody was wondering, how would government import welders when we have young people in the country? But we have people that were trained for welding, but they were not steel welders. So that was a gap that was there. We have other institutions like Beacon Technical Training Institute in Rogai. We have other institutions like Eagle Air. We have Belmont International in Rogai also. We have RG Memorial, which is also in the same Kajiado County. We have Brighter College, which is based on Magadi Road. And we have Kitegela Institute, Kite Institute of Professionals, which is in Kitegela, and several other private TVETs. So when we are addressing Kajiado County, KENAPCO is also a member of Kajiado County through our member institutions. Now, the conversation now that we are having this evening about bridging skills gap and the importance of TVET in the job market. The question that anybody who is listening to us this evening can ask themselves, now what is skill? What is vocational education? What qualifications do I need? What technical training do I need? How do I develop my career through TVET? Will I get practical apprenticeship? Those are several questions that I know our listeners are having this evening. So what is skill? Skill is the ability to do something well. And through TVET, your skills are honed well so that you can be an expert in what you're doing. And with the current CBET curriculum, you can even be an expert for one thing. For example, who can be able to do slab, an expert in doing the slab, if it's in a construction site, an expert in tiling, an expert in an electrician. So those are TVET skills. And TVET, the acronym TVET, is Technical Vocational Education and Training. Technical Vocational Education and Training, for somebody who may not even be understanding what is this TVET that we are talking about. And if we just have a layman language kind of a conversation, I can just confidently tell each and every listener this evening that we think TVET, we breathe TVET, we live TVET every single day. And I start with myself. For example, the person who did my nails, that's a beautician, that's TVET. I walk in a restaurant this evening after this conversation for a cup of coffee. The person who will have made that coffee for me has done hospitality. That's TVET. After that, I walk into a salon. I need my hair done. The person who will do it is somebody who has done a course in hairdressing. That's TVET. After that, I pass by my tailor because I need my outfit for tomorrow. The person at the tailor who will do that for me, that is TVET. After that, I started driving and I realized that my car has an issue. Then I need a mechanic to assist me and even to service my car. The mechanic I walk to, that's TVET. And when you look at TVET, we breathe TVET. And there has been a negative connotation about the TVET education in the country and the assumption that TVET is for failures. It is not for failures, and there is nobody who is a failure. And this is what CBC is trying to address. Because that person who got an E, that person who got a D, that person who got a D plus, that person who got a C minus, that person who got a C, or did not qualify for admission to the university is not foolish, is not stupid. It is only that they are intelligent in different ways, or they were tested for things that they are not passionate about. These are people who are very good with hands and skills, kind of trainings. So vocational education, which is now the TVET that we are talking about, has advantages, opportunities, and possibilities. One, it has the job opportunities. I've just described that we live TVET every single day, every minute. Whatever we are doing is TVET. So the job opportunities are massive, which lead even to self-employment, not only being, not only looking for the job to be employed. Then TVET training is more accessible. If you look at the number of institutions that I've mentioned, when we include the government institutions in the country, we are over 2,000 institutions. So every few kilometers, there is a TVET institution or a vocational education institution. Another opportunity for TVET is it is a pathway to higher education. It is good that we make it clear and we have some clarity to our high schoolers or to people who have dropped off from class 8 that doing TVET will not limit you if your dream is even getting a PhD, because you can be able to move with the steps. If you got an E, a D, you will start with your artisan courses. After the artisan courses, you will be able to move to certificate courses. From certificate courses, you'll be able to move to a diploma, from diploma to a higher diploma, from a higher diploma to a degree, and from a degree to a master's, and from a master's to a PhD. So TVET is a pathway to higher education, and it is important for people who want to be academicians to know that even if I didn't qualify for the engineering course that I was looking for, I can start with a diploma in a TVET institution. I can still channel my career that way, and I can still get to the highest qualification that I may be looking for. Then TVET courses, of course, are shorter. You take a shorter duration, because now even with the CBET training, you can do short courses that are specific for whatever you want to learn. We have courses that are as short as 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. So the duration is shorter. And another thing that is not on this, on what you can see on the screen, it is that it is the affordability. TVET education is affordable. And we can say it is more accessible and it is also affordable. So one of the key benefits about TVET is the ability to fill the skills gap. And what is this skills gap, so that we don't have a vocabulary that is so much textbook for the listener tonight? Skills gap is a mismatch between the skills that employers need and the skills that the job seekers have. So we have always had the slogan on television, on our newspapers, that we are having half-baked graduates, but nobody has ever described for us who is a fully baked graduate. But now we can say that a fully baked one is somebody whose skills match what the employers are looking for. And these sometimes lack of these skills lead to lack of qualified candidates. And I know employers who may be listening to this, they know they even advertise for positions 3, 4, 5 times before they get. And sometimes these skills lack in the country, and we have case studies. Like Machakos County, there was a time the then governor, who is Dr. Alfred Mutua, was all over saying that he cannot get plumbers for his county. That was a few years ago. Then the HFCK, they ended up training their own painters because as they were doing construction, they could not get professional painters. Majority of us did not even know that painting is not just picking a brush. Those of us who grew in the village, we know that you could just pick your brush and start painting and say that that wall looks nice. Until now, a few years ago, we realized that even painting is a profession. Then I mentioned about the case study of the steel welders and the SGR. A few years ago, one of the PSs reached out to us as an association and was saying that there is a mall, an international mall that has come in the country, and they are looking for professional retail attendants, and they needed 300 of them. Unfortunately, we didn't have such trainings. And lucky for them, the only person who had the trained staff was the then Tuskys supermarket, because they were training their staff for themselves. Then after that, COVID came. And when COVID came, the C-level started having a need for virtual executive assistants, which was also another challenge people would not get. So the gap between the available jobs and what is needed has always been a big challenge. So what is that importance of TVET in today's job market? One, TVET can help address the skills gap by providing students with practical, relevant, and training they need to succeed in specific careers. Two, many TVET programs are designed in collaboration with local employers, so they can be tailored to meet specific needs. And when I talk about being in collaboration with local employers, there is a policy that we are working on called the dual cooperative training. This is the model that has been successful in Germany and Finland, where the students are able to learn for 3 months, then another 3 months in the industry, like that, so that by the time they are done, they are able to integrate very well in the job market. And in addition to providing these learnings, there is also the practical and the hands-on approach to learning that can be appealing to some students. I've been privileged to have a conversation with a senior engineer at Safaricom, and was telling me on a side conversation that when they get a graduate of engineering, before they can trust them with their networks, they end up training them up to 2 years before they can allow them to even touch the network. So these, we are talking of telecommunications engineering. They have had a challenge with people who will do fiber installations. We've seen Safaricom networking our homes, even with home fiber. That is what we are using, majority of us. But did we have those technicians? We didn't have. That was a skills gap that was there. But we have a lot of people who are graduating each and every year and graduating with courses for jobs that do not exist. And this is where now TVET comes in. You identify what is this need, and then you can train for that need and become an expert with that need. Then we are also talking about the hands-on experiences and real-world projects. And we can give an example when we talk about real-world. I think majority of us, even those who are listening to us this evening, own at least a mobile phone. And when your phone hangs, you need some assistance from a phone technician. These are new courses, and that's a gap, because by that you can't just buy a new phone because maybe the case is cracked or something. Maybe it could be expensive. So that is something that is the skills that a young person can utilize and just can specialize in. And this is a short course that can go even as low as 3 months. And TVET, the advantage of it is experiential learning, because when we were starting, I mentioned that we live TVET, we say TVET, breathe TVET each and every single minute. Now, the person who may be listening would be asking themselves, because over the years, TVET has had a negative connotation, and it has been presumed to be for the failures, quote unquote, that the person who failed is a person who is supposed to go to poly or to technical or to the vocational training institutions. But it is, as I have mentioned in the previous slide, it is a pathway. TVET is a pathway to somebody's career. And they are very high in demand jobs, varieties in the industries for the TVET trainers or the TVET trainees. We have skilled trades like electricians, the plumbers that we have mentioned, and the few technicians that I have mentioned. We have healthcare professionals such as nurses, medical assistants, and dental assistants. And when we mention these, the opportunities are massive. This is both local and international. We have seen the president sign pacts with countries who are looking for skilled labor. In short, they are looking for people with TVET training, because skills is hands-on skills, labor is TVET. So we have countries like Qatar that has been absorbing Kenyans, Dubai. We have Canada that is looking for the same. We have UK, we have Germany, and these we have seen it in the broad area. And I think it's important information, and this conversation in these Kajiado County talks would not have come at a better time than this, because I know we have a majority of our young people asking themselves, how can I get these opportunities? How do I need to prepare myself for these opportunities? What skills do I need? And what you need is the TVET skills. Because when Canada says they are looking for people to assist them with health-related courses, when they say they are looking for welders, in short, they are saying we are looking for TVET graduates. We have other opportunities, especially in Europe, for IT and computer professionals, and these are TVET trainings. Then we have manufacturing, industrial professionals, welders, and quality control. And when we mention these, we cannot forget the agenda for Kenya and the agenda for Africa. As a country, we have a vision to achieve by 2030. As a continent, we have an agenda to achieve, that is Agenda 2063. By 2063, what we need. And so these technicians, to be able to work in manufacturing and industrial parks and industrial companies, these are TVET graduates, because we will need a lot of technicians, because production must happen and industrialization must happen for our nation to achieve its Vision 2030. And at the same time for Africa to be able to work on the raw materials that are available. So when you're taking these courses as a young person, think global, think big. You're not only doing this to be limited to your county. You're not doing this to become your village champion. You have opportunities across the globe with this kind of training. Then we have other opportunities like agriculture, forestry technicians, and the list is endless of the opportunities for someone who has done the TVET courses. And when we talk that opportunities are limitless for you, we are taking a case study of countries that have utilized TVET to their advantage. And one of these countries has been Germany. And this is the country that we are benchmarking with as a nation, as Kenya. And most of their graduates have always wanted to do TVET. They don't bother with higher education. Most of them are technicians. And these career opportunities are critical and are important as you're planning your career, as you're planning what you want to do. If you love working with your hands, then TVET is the way to go. And in this world, the world that we are living in, you have to keep on learning each and every day. In the 70s, there is a guy who was called Alvin Toffler who said that the illiterate of the future will not be the people who cannot learn or who cannot read or write, but the illiterate of the future will be people who cannot learn, relearn, and unlearn. So even those who are already working, TVET is for us because we have to keep on upskilling and updating our skills. And COVID was a good case study and a good example for people to know that you can be able to work remotely. It was a disruptor for the way that we work. So if you're looking to upskilling and even to gaining short skills, then TVET is a way because of the rapid job changing market, the changes in IT, manufacturing, and healthcare. The change is so rapid. And to be able to develop your career, ongoing trainings and professional development opportunities and updating your skills and your skills either with the latest trends and technologies, then TVET is what will help you to become competitive in advancing your career. So if you're committed to lifelong learning, then TVET is your way. And of course, in a country, and what I listened as you were introducing the CBO, the need is also for economic empowerment, economic growth, economic development. This is why you're doing this. You're empowering the people who are listening with information that is useful for them. You are supporting the leaders of the country across the divide, whether in government or in opposition, whichever you are an nonpartisan CBO, because you're serving your community, you're serving the people. As you do this, the economy also needs to grow, and the growth, and as you check your achievements. So TVET also helps in growing an economy of a nation, because with TVET, it will support and address the skills gap that a country is having. It will be able to provide the students with practical in-demand needs and help business find talent that they can grow and thrive in. And this can be a ripple effect on the economy as a business, and also enhancing talent and also creating new job opportunities. Because at the end of the day, it is creating employment is a key thing, whether it is self-employment and having each and every adult able to feed themselves and able to support its nation and also to pursue their dreams. So TVET is one way of being able to do that. And economic development and growth, it can be both individual and at community level, because each and as a community, we also need to be able to audit what are we doing. As a country, we are the largest economies in East and Central Africa. So as the largest economy, what can we be able to do to stay at the same level and also to grow, to become a better economy for Africa? Because the future of the world is towards Africa. So when we're looking at the future of the world is towards Africa. So if we train more TVET graduates, then we can be able to command other economies, and we can also be able to stimulate economies that are around us. During His Excellency President Kibaki, we became the leading country in Africa in terms of IT and technology. We were the first we were very swift in getting that. During the Uhuru's administration, we were very swift of becoming the conference holders and events across Africa. And when we are mentioning those two things, we are saying those are TVET. We have said that hospitality is TVET. Event management, that's TVET. So in this administration, we have gotten opportunities for our youth to work abroad. So that's again TVET. So using TVET, we are still growing our economy as we help stimulate the economy that is around us. And since there is so much that we can share, I am passionate about the topic of TVET. I love TVET, I breathe TVET, and it is a nice evening to speak to all of us, and I would urge you can visit the institutions that I have mentioned for more information, or you can even follow me on social media and we can interact more and have this conversation on TVET so that we rebrand TVET, so that we stop seeing or viewing TVET to be for the failures or people who did not pass well in school, but just know it is for people who are tested for things they're not passionate about, and you give that person a TVET course, they become the best, the very best plumber you can get, they become the best mixologist you can get, they become the best cabin crew person, they become the best waiter, they become the best retail attendant, the best mechanic. There is success, and success is just being contented and happy with what you do each and every week, every single day. Just as Robin Sharma said, that the best work you'll ever do is to work on you. So upskill and upskill through TVET. Thank you. So back to the moderator.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ekrah. That's quite an amazing presentation, and I must say I have been glued from beginning to end. I'm such a big supporter of TVET, and I do understand the importance of it. I have a question myself, though. I wanted to know, you've talked about perception in terms of the way it is perceived to be. Like you say, it's not for the failures, right? So what is TVET, what is TVET doing to change this perception, with the students and with the market at large, with the target audience?
Number one, when you see 9,000 students choosing to go TVET way than going to the university, that means we are having a mental shift as a nation.
Okay.
Because 10,000 is a big number. 10,000 is a big number. And conversations like this we are having, Alice, why you invited me and you didn't invite somebody to talk about PhDs is because you have started embracing TVET as a Kajiado County and knowing that TVET is what will help to grow your county. So you can change one person at a time, and you never mention about changing one person at a time without referencing to Professor Wangari Maathai. It is something that she used to love saying, may her soul keep resting in peace. She used to say when she was lobbying about trees that time, that let us become the hummingbird, that when there is a fire, just use your beak to bring water. You can imagine the size of a beak and to bring water to put out a fire. So that means however little of an inch of what you can be able to do. So if all of us kept doing the same, maybe all the crowd that is listening to us this evening and those who will watch this after that, we will be able to change their mindset. We'll be able to tell them that embrace TVET, and they'll be able to know that Korea is where they are because of TVET. Singapore is where it is because of TVET. China is where it is because of cottage industries, that is TVET. So the perception, the change of perception and a mental shift is what will make everybody embrace and respect what everybody does.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I have is you've said something so key and so important, and that's to think global. When pursuing TVET, think global. And you've mentioned a lot of amazing opportunities that are out there with Germany and Canada and so on and so forth. Where would you advise the viewers to be able to go and find these opportunities and find these courses that are highly sought after and be able to pursue them?
I have mentioned one of our institutions that is doing welding, which is working with Canada Bureau to export welders to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned in my
Mm-hmm.
presentation. They can look for me for that further information. All my social media handles are there. I am available on Google if somebody needs a one-on-one kind of advice.
Okay. All right. We have a comment here on the implementation of the TVET Act 2013. Maybe you can just speak to how that has been implemented.
So this is Jack Marubu, the 2013 Act,
Yeah.
where we are as a nation, even for people to be able to know that there is TVET, it is because of the operationalization of the TVET Act. And the TVET Act operationalization started with regulation of institutions. Now, there never used to be a regulator before then. Number two, today we have Kenya School of TVET that never used to exist, the former KTTC, where we have trainers being trained. We never even used to have trainers for TVET. We never used to have curriculums that had been done for TVET. This has been done between 2013 and now, and this time. There was a lot of work that was done in international best practices for us to be able to know as a nation, where are we at and what do we need and how can we implement these TVET as a nation? Where can we borrow? What wisdom can we be able to borrow so that we do it right and we are able to achieve what is required as a country? So the operationalization has been done to the best according to my own matrix of check, that where we are at is not where we were in 2012 as a country. And we should be able to appreciate milestones.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I think something else that has stood out for me in terms of TVET is you talked about people who are gifted differently, who are perhaps not necessarily academically strong and have other skills, and the fact that TVET is an opportunity for that kind of skill. And that's,
Sure.
I think, really, really important for people to also understand that it's good to understand who you are, where you are, and then go the TVET route, because that's where your strength lies. And that's really, really key. So I think with that, you had mentioned that you'd like to us to close a little bit early, and I think it's good to respect that. And we are so grateful that you've been able to come here and talk to us about TVET. Allow us to take this question from JK that has come real quick. It says, question, very informative talk. TVET is still not reachable to many because of funds. What is the government doing?
I think the person did not listen to my introduction. I am not in government. I am private sector. So I am from the private institutions where the students are self-sponsored. Yes, but JK, thank you very much for your compliment on the informative talk. Maybe in the next one, you need to invite the PS herself to come and tell us what is the government going to do. But our government has not been having enough. Even the help, you can see it was a little bit slashed.
Yeah.
So we are also lobbying, as he's lobbying. It is our number one lobby agenda to get our students get funds from government. And we are hopeful that with the operationalization of the TVET fund, which was one of the key things that was born during the 2015 strategy for TVET, which has not been operationalized, perhaps we will have enough funds even for Jay with his question. But in the moment, we don't have a TVET fund.
Yeah, okay. That is fair enough. So thank you very much, Dr. Ekrah. Thank you for an amazing talk. I think for the viewers, if you have more questions, she's open. She said, reach her on her social media handles. And thank you so much for giving us that access, because TVET is certainly an amazing path to take. So thank you very much to you, and thank you very much to everybody who's been watching.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.